Hi, students of Human Development 499 Senior Seminar. This is Professor Davis, and I'm just sending you a Wednesday evening message. I just want to encourage everyone to stay the course. I know that this is a lot, this project that you must finish in a few more weeks. We are still in the beginning stages, or after the method section is submitted on Sunday, we'll be halfway, let's say a third through, okay? Because you still have to conduct your study, and then you have to interpret the result. You have to run the results and then interpret them in your discussion. So there's still several more steps, but do not despair. So just to give you a little update, your literature reviews are still being checked off. If you haven't received feedback, please give me until Friday. You won't be doing anything else with the literature review until the end, unless I ask you to make any corrections. Most of the corrections that I'm seeing are that you need to actually put your thesis statement in at the beginning of the paper. Some of you are missing restating or stating your research question and or your operational definitions, which are very important and will guide your research. Your literature review must be a whole embodiment of the existing literature research out there about your topic. And I really think it's important to have subtopics under your main topic that you discuss using authors who are researchers in the area that you're studying. So many of you have done a great job with that. Some of you have gotten a little stuck. So if I ask you to rewrite or to revise your literature review, and I tell you specifically in the comment box of the grade book to return it within 1 to 2 weeks, please do so. If you do not hear that comment, read that comment, then that means if there's any particular corrections that I need you to do for the literature review, you won't have to resubmit. You just fix it and make sure it's correct when you submit your final paper with all of the sections. So only if I tell you to resubmit your literature review or any other future parts of your paper, like the method, result, or discussion, do not resubmit it. Just make any of the corrections and make sure that they are included in your final draft, okay? So that's a little different than what I specifically said in an announcement that said that if you have any corrections, submit at the end. But I may tell you specifically for any of your sections that I need to see it earlier. Now, moving on to the method section that is due on Sunday, March 5th, I am encouraging everyone to review all of the materials on what a method section is. The method section is simply instructions on how to conduct your study. So it needs to be detailed enough where if I decide or anyone else decides to replicate your study, they can do it. So there are several subsections under the method section. You have the research design. I was speaking to a student earlier today, and this student's research design is going to be qualitative, a phenomenological approach using narrative interviews. That's her research design for her topic. Please refer to the Babby textbook, my notes that I have included under the course materials, so you can decide what is going to be your research design. It's either going to be qualitative, quantitative, or a combination of both. It could be quasi-experimental. It could be that you're using both qualitative and quantitative. Then you go in and you process and let everyone know what your participants or who your participants will be. Your participants need to be described. Are they adults? Are they children? Men, women, both? Age brackets. Does SES count? Maybe it is important to your research. Talk about as much as you need to about the participants that you plan to recruit and about how many you plan to recruit. You also have, the next section is your materials. What materials do you need to complete this research? Do you need a questionnaire? Do you need interview questions? Do you need a pencil? Do you need a recorder? Whatever you need, list everything or write it in paragraph form. Procedures. This should be your longest section because you're going to be telling us step by step how you plan to do your study from beginning to end, how you plan to recruit your participants, where will you conduct your study, how will you conduct your study. All of that information should be included in the procedures. Finally, you should include the last part of your method is the data analysis. I am not telling you to analyze anything at this point. You are simply telling the reader how you plan to analyze your data once you collect the information from your participants. It should match your research design. So the earlier example of the qualitative phenomenological narrative interviews, those are typically analyzed through coding and the use of discovering themes across the different participants. Please, again, refer to your Babbie text as well as examples that I've provided to know what type of data analysis you are going to use based on your research design. You are just describing how you plan to analyze it, and that's it. Please write this section as if you haven't done it because you are proposing how you plan to conduct this study. So it will be written in future tense. This investigator plans to interview 5 to 7 participants who are ages 18 to 25 college students. Now, once you finish your study, you can go back and specifically say, this researcher interviewed 7 college students between the ages of 18 and 25, because you're going to tell us specifically how many did you actually interview. This section now is a proposed way that you're going to do it. You might run into some snafus, some issues that your procedures might even change. After you conduct your study during weeks 8, 9, and 10, you need to go back and write your method section. Just change up the tense to what you did and make any corrections because you may have changed some things. The examples that I'm providing you now are papers that are done. So they have all written their method in past tense. You're not there yet. You are just proposing what you plan to do. I believe many students are confused about this, which is why I'm explaining it again. I know I have a lot of videos. I know it can get confusing. So I'm reiterating as much as I can. I'm meeting with as many students as I can. If you need a meeting, please let me know and I'll fit you in as soon as I can. Just send me an email. All right, I hope this was helpful and I look forward to continuing reading your literature reviews and I look forward to reading your method section as well.